I am just an ordinary scavenger from the Yellow River. I accidentally saved the Crown Prince and the young prince, and I became pregnant with the Crown Prince's child. But on the day of our wedding, the Crown Prince did not appear. Instead, he brought the dowry to welcome the daughter of the Prime Minister. When I went to demand an explanation, I was stopped by the young prince Xiao Ziyan. He confessed that the one who made me pregnant was actually him. He was willing to marry me and take care of me for the rest of my life. A month after we married, our village was attacked by mountain bandits. None of the 110 families survived. Looking at the mountains of corpses, I was heartbroken. I couldn't even save my child. Xiao Ziyan stayed by my side day and night, and it took a long time for me to emerge from the darkness. 3 years later, I became pregnant again. I wanted to be the first to tell Xiao Ziyan this good news, but I accidentally overheard a conversation between him and a friend. Ziyan, the Crown Prince is suppressing you so heavily now. Don't you feel stifled? Back then, for his sake, you not only married Mu Qingqing, but also claimed a child that wasn't yours. I didn't do it for him. I did it for Wan'er. The great Yin has always favored the eldest over the legitimate heir. If Mu Qingqing were to give birth to a royal heir first, how would Wan'er stand in the harem in the future? I know you are madly in love with Lin Wan'er, but you didn't have to massacre the entire Yellow River village to silence them. A perfectly good group of corpse scavengers, pretty much wiped out ever since then. There was no choice. The people of Yellow River Village knew too much. To eliminate any future trouble, they had to die. Knowing the truth, I was so enraged that I vomited blood and died. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day I saved them. Looking at the two people in the river begging me for help, I just shrugged calmly. Sorry, it is the rule of us scavengers to only recover bodies. We do not save the living. The Yellow River's current was fierce, even though a massive rock in the river momentarily blocked Chen and Xiao Ziyan. With no one to rescue them, they still couldn't make it to shore. The two of them were becoming exhausted. Watching them, it looked as if they were about to be swept away. They had no choice but to swallow their pride and continue begging me for help. Miss, please save us. Once we are safe, we will certainly reward you. The words "reward you" pierced my heart like a sharp blade, bringing back the agonizing memories of my past life. Back then, Chen and Xiao Ziyan also said they would reward me handsomely. Yet, I never expected their so-called rewards to be abandonment and betrayal, deceit, and lies, and even slaughtering the entire Yellow River village for the sake of one Lin Wan'er, wiping out the entire clan of corpse fishers. The screams of my kin still linger in my mind. The sight of mountains of corpses and seas of blood keeps me painfully alert. I sat on the bank, motionless, lowering my head to mend my retrieval rope. My voice was calm, not sounding in the least like someone facing life and death. My apologies, but this is the rule passed down through generations of corpse fishers. I cannot break the rules for a mere reward. However, don't worry, you two. Once you are dead, I will personally fish out your bodies and send you home. Chen and Xiao Ziyan were furious, but the Yellow River didn't give them a chance to curse at me. The river water rushed into their mouths and noses. The two of them instinctively let go of their hold, but just as they were about to be swept away, a figure flashed past me and dove headlong into the river. Watching my father drag those two half-dead men back onto the shore, I nearly vomited blood in frustration. But seeing that the villagers had already arrived, there was no way I could, in front of everyone, throw Chen and Xiao Ziyan back into the Yellow River. I could only feign grievance and say, "Father, didn't you teach me that corpse retrieve, ours only recover bodies, and never save the living? Doesn't this break the rules and offend the Dragon King?" Father let out a long sigh. His gaze toward the two men held some worry, but even more compassion. They are two human lives after all. I couldn't just stand by and watch them die. But Qingqing, don't you worry. Your father is old now. I am not afraid of death. If the Dragon King wishes to blame someone, let him blame me. It has nothing to do with you. The village elder who had rushed over also knelt by the Yellow River, kowtowing incessantly. Dragon King, if you are angry, then take it out on us old folks. Do not make it difficult for these young ones. They are still young and have a long life ahead of them. My eyes suddenly grew moist. My clansmen were always this kind. They would protect the young and break the rules just to save two strangers. It was the same in my past life. After I broke the rules to save Chen and Xiao Ziyan, everyone not only didn't blame me, but they went to the Yellow River daily to burn incense and seek atonement, praying that the Dragon King would not take his vengeance on me. They even did their utmost to help me look after those two men. It is a pity that good people do not always get rewarded. Their kindness was met only with total catastrophe. The more I thought, the more my heart ached. And the angrier I became, I also made up my mind. In this life, even if I can't kill Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan, I will not let them have it easy. So, suppressing my hatred, I knelt beside them feigning weakness and apologized. My lords, I am sorry. It was my stubbornness that nearly cost you your lives. The two of you should stay at our house, and I will take care of you. That way I can feel more at ease. Seeing that I was willing to admit my mistake and change, Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan couldn't find much more to criticize. They both nodded. Then I shall trouble you, miss. By the time they had taken their medicine and fallen into a deep sleep, the moon was already high in the sky. I slipped out of the house and made my way to an inconspicuous courtyard at the west end of the village. The person inside was not yet asleep, just sitting quietly in the dark, seemingly lost in thought. I knew her too well and went straight to the point. Princess Xu, do you still wish to be Xiao Chen's crown princess? The woman with the scarred face gritted her teeth in hatred. Of course I do. I not only want to be crown princess, but also empress, and make that animal Xiao Chen pay a bitter price. Exactly. This woman was none other than Xu Ran, the youngest daughter of the enemy emperor. She had been sent to negotiate an alliance between the two kingdoms with Xiao Chen. But Xiao Chen only had eyes for Lin Wan'er and was unwilling to marry anyone else. Yet, due to diplomatic relations, he could not refuse. So he took the opportunity while Xu Ran was returning to Chen to bribe mountain bandits, faking a robbery. After the bandits ravaged Xu Ran, they scarred her face, ruining her beauty, and threw her, half dead, into the Yellow River. I was the one who saved her then and hid her in the village to recover. At first, I only pitied her plight, but I never expected that she would become my greatest ally. I held nothing back and told her everything about my rebirth. After a long silence, she let out a bitter laugh. Qingqing, it turns out you've had it even worse than me. My voice was hoarse as I replied, indeed, but it is all in the past now. Since the heavens have granted me a chance to start over, I will no longer sit idle and wait for my fate, and neither will you. I only have one condition. When you are securely seated as empress in the future, find a way to hand Xiao Ziyan over to me. I want to finish him off with my own hands. Xu Ran reached out her hand to me. It is a deal. Just like in my previous life, Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan, in order to topple the political enemies framing them, used the excuse of recovering from injuries to stay in Huang village for 2 months, secretly plotting their moves. During this time, Xiao Chen naturally took a fancy to me. On a stormy night with thunder and lightning, he snuck into my bedchamber. There were no words, only probing actions. Seeing there was no resistance on the bed, he became unscrupulous. Perhaps it had been too long since he'd had his way. He became somewhat lost in the moment, completely failing to notice that the person beneath him was deliberately turning her face away, preventing him from touching the jagged scars on her cheeks. After he was finished, Xiao Chen, just like in my previous life, rushed away without saying a word. Only after his figure disappeared did a dim candlelight flicker on in the room. Xu Ran, on the bed, slowly and deliberately put her clothes back on and turned to look at me and a man emerging from the shadows. Imperial brother, I asked you to come today just to serve as a witness so that Xiao Chen can't go back on his word later. That man was none other than the Northern Rong Crown Prince, Xu Lin. He clenched his fists and said angrily, Imperial sister, Xiao Chen has harmed you to this extent. We should just go to war directly. Why must you sacrifice your own body? Xu Ran replied with a cold, detached smile. Our Northern Rong and the Great Yin are evenly matched. Going to war directly doesn't guarantee victory. If we lose, not only will my revenge fail, but it will also implicate the common people. Rather than that, it is better to find a more secure method to slowly torture Xiao Chen. Seeing that her reasoning held merit, he said no more, only stating, fine, handle it as you both see fit. Should you ever need me, just send word. After waiting half a month, once it was confirmed that Xu Ran was pregnant, I sought out Xiao Chen, and blushing I said delicately, Your Highness, you know that a woman's reputation is of the utmost importance. Besides, I am now with child. Xiao Chen was momentarily stunned. Once he realized what I meant, he impatiently brushed me off. Very well, I understand. Go and prepare yourself. In 7 days, I shall come to welcome you as my bride. I did not tell Xiao Chen that it was not me who was pregnant, because I was waiting for Xiao Ziyan to lose his composure and come to beg to marry me himself. Xu Ran did not quite understand. He thought that after the pain Xiao Ziyan caused me in our past life, why would I want to marry him again in this one? He even asked if I still held feelings for Xiao Ziyan. I laughed mockingly. What affection could possibly remain between us? I simply do not wish for him to get what he wants. Do he and Xiao Chen not love Lin Wan'er deeply? I will ensure that neither of them gets the one they love. As I expected, Xiao Ziyan in this life, for the sake of Lin Wan'er, still willingly took the bait. That day was the date Xiao Chen had promised to marry me. Yet, just like in my past life, he did not show up. Instead, he turned his carriage toward the Prime Minister's residence. I put put on a show of chasing after him, only to be intercepted at the city gates by Xiao Ziyan. He fed me the same old line, claiming that it was he who had snuck into my room that night. He said Xiao Chen had only agreed to marry me out of brotherly loyalty, simply to cover for his mistake. He even begged me to marry him in front of the gathered crowd, and swore by the heavens that if he ever failed me, he would be struck down by lightning. The crowd began to cheer. Some say I'm so lucky to have married into such a high-status family. Others say we are from different worlds, and that this marriage surely won't last. I feigned worry and said, "Little prince, you really shouldn't say things like that. Although I am just a scavenger of the dead, I do not treat marriage as a child's game. If you truly wish to marry me, then you must never take another wife in the future. Can you do that? If you cannot, then let me go, and allow me to go ask His Highness the Crown Prince myself." Xiao Ziyan grew anxious and blurted out thoughtlessly, "No. Wan'er's greatest wish in this life is to become the crown princess. If you go there to cause a scene, won't that just bring scorn upon her?" Although I had long known of Xiao Ziyan's cold-heartedness, truly hearing him defend Lin Wan'er like this still made my heart ache. In my past life, I knew nothing at all. I only cared for Xiao Ziyan's gentle and thoughtful treatment of me, and so I gave him my whole heart. He was busy with official business, and so that he would have no worries at home, I painstakingly managed all the trivial household affairs. I couldn't read the account books, so I stayed up night after night with a tutor to learn them. My parents-in-law were in poor health, constantly suffering from minor ailments, which I attended to personally even after a tiring day. I insisted on cooking their meals and brewing their medicine myself. Everything I did was simply to repay the kindness Xiao Ziyan showed me, but I never expected that in the end his love was all a lie. Everything he did was merely to ensure I would remain quiet and obedient, and not cause any trouble for the one he truly loved. I forced myself to hide my emotions, not letting Xiao Ziyan notice anything amiss. Then, pretending to know nothing, I asked, "Little prince, who is Wan'er?" Xiao Ziyan finally realized he had made a slip of the tongue. He hurriedly tried to make amends. "Wan'er is just my childhood friend. We're like brother and sister. Qingqing, don't you misunderstand." I gave a forced, mirthless smile. "If you hadn't spoken up, my lord, I really would have almost misunderstood. Seeing your anxious expression, my lord, I truly thought Wan'er was the one who held your heart." Xiao Ziyan's back stiffened. A flicker of guilt flashed in his eyes. He lowered his gaze and lied against his heart. "How could that be? From the very moment I saw you, my heart has belonged only to you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been unable to restrain my feelings." The phrase, "unable to restrain my feelings," pierced my heart like a knife. In my previous life, when Xiao Ziyan stopped me to explain, I was also half convinced. But with that one line, "unable to restrain my feelings," he destroyed all my defenses. From then on, I trusted him implicitly. It wasn't until I heard the truth before my death that I realized how foolish I had been, living this life again. I will naturally not repeat the same mistakes. What I want is no longer his hypocritical love, but his regret. I feigned being moved, and urged him, "Since that is the case, then let us exchange our marriage vows in front of everyone here." Xiao Ziyan hesitated for a moment. "Don't be impatient, Qingqing. Today is the wedding of the crown prince and Wan'er. It wouldn't be proper if I didn't attend the ceremony. Once it is over, how about I go to Huang village to present the betrothal gifts?" I understood Xiao Ziyan's heart. Attending the ceremony was just a pretext. He simply wanted to see his beloved off to her marriage in person. I did not stop him, because I knew very well that the marriage between Xiao Chen and Lin Wan'er would not succeed. Sure enough, Xiao Ziyan's confidant rushed over to report, "My lord, the crown prince's wedding has been postponed. The Northern Rong crown prince has arrived with an official delegation. His majesty has ordered you to the palace immediately to entertain them." Xiao Ziyan looked alert and guarded. He grabbed his aide by the collar. He asked in a low voice, "Why is the Northern Rong delegation here? Princess Su is already dead. Could it be that Northern Rong hasn't given up on the idea of an alliance?" Before the servant could answer, Xiao Ziyan muttered to himself, "No, I must go to the palace at once to see what is happening. If Northern Rong insists on the marriage alliance, His Majesty will surely agree for the sake of the big picture. If that happens, Wan'er's position as crown princess will be lost." Xiao Ziyan's words made me realize everything in an instant. It seems Xiao Chen wasn't the only one who harmed Shu Ran. I should have figured this out sooner. In my past life, Xiao Ziyan was willing to do anything for Lin Wan'er, even claiming a child that wasn't his as his own, and stopping at nothing to slaughter innocent people. Now, compared to that, killing a foreign princess would mean absolutely nothing to his conscience. Thinking of this, my heart turned even colder and harder. A cold-blooded, heartless animal who massacres innocents like him truly does not deserve any sympathy. I grabbed Xiao Ziyan as he tried to leave and said coldly, "Young prince, you aren't going to the ceremony. Don't you have to go to my house to present the betrothal gifts?" Xiao Ziyan fretfully brushed me off. "Qingqing, I really have something very important to attend to. Don't worry, I won't break my word." I didn't let go, but threatened him instead. "Fine, since you are going to the palace, take me with you. I just happen to need to ask His Majesty to investigate who exactly was the one who ruined my reputation that day." Xiao Ziyan stopped dead in his tracks. He glared at me, gritting his teeth, and said with a sharp tone, "Are you threatening me?" I shook my head. I wouldn't dare. But since I'm already here, if I don't get an answer, I really can't eat or sleep. If the young prince is too busy to handle this, then I have no choice but to ask the emperor for help. Xiao Ziyan hesitated. His confidant understood him best. He whispered, "Young prince, I've asked around. The Northern Rong haven't mentioned a marriage alliance. It seems they're only here to discuss border matters this time. You don't need to worry. Miss Wan'er entering the Eastern Palace should not be a problem. The top priority is to keep Mu Qingqing under control. The Emperor has always placed the highest importance on his heirs. If you let her take the matter of her pregnancy before the throne, I'm afraid Miss Wan'er won't be able to become the crown princess after all." Though Xiao Ziyan was somewhat reluctant, for the sake of Lin Wan'er's lifelong happiness, he gritted his teeth and agreed. He signed the marriage contract in front of everyone, and under the crowd's egging, he added a clause that he would never take another wife. I tucked the marriage contract away, feeling finally at ease. I no longer blocked Xiao Ziyan's path, letting him rush off to the palace to await news. The Northern Rong delegation indeed did not mention a marriage alliance. Everything seemed to have settled into place. Xiao Ziyan finally felt at ease enough to prepare for our wedding. 3 days later, Xiao Chen and Lin Wan'er were wed. Perhaps fearing I might cause trouble, Xiao Ziyan arrived at the village early that morning. He claimed he was here to accompany me as I embroidered my wedding gown, but in reality, he was here to supervise me. I didn't ask any questions, just kept my head down and worked quietly. But the sudden arrival of Xiao Ziyan's confidant shattered this eerie stillness. He was panting heavily, crying out anxiously, "Young prince, it is bad." The crown prince and Miss Wan'er were just about to bow before the altar. Suddenly, an ugly woman barged in. She claimed she had a one-night stand with the crown prince back in Huang village, and that she is now pregnant. She is demanding that the crown prince take responsibility. Xiao Ziyan was stunned for a moment. Then he whipped his head around to look at me. Seeing that I showed no surprise whatsoever, Xiao Ziyan seemed to realize something. He furiously flipped over the table, and with eyes burning with rage, he snarled, "Mu Qingqing, was this your doing?" As the table was overturned, it hit me. My grip on the embroidery needle slipped, and it pricked my finger. Fresh blood welled up, coalescing into a single bead of blood. But after having endured the gut-wrenching pain of my previous life, this minor injury was not even worth mentioning. I put my finger into my mouth and sucked the blood away. I said calmly, "It wasn't my doing. The day His Highness the Crown Prince snuck into my room, he never specified whose body he wanted. It just so happened that my dear friend was there at the time." Seeing that, I didn't deny it. Xiao Ziyan flew into an even greater rage. He grabbed my neck like a madman and demanded harshly, "Then when I tried to stop you, why didn't you tell me? You even pretended to want to file a complaint, and even calmly accepted my marriage proposal." I let out a cold laugh and feigned innocence with a shrug. "Your Highness, that's not a fair thing to say. My friend was wronged, but due to her reputation, she was too embarrassed to come forward and file a complaint. What was wrong with me standing up for her? As for the marriage proposal, wasn't that something you begged me for, Your Highness? You were the one who said that you fell in love with me the moment you saw me. I thought you were speaking from the heart, so I simply couldn't bear to refuse. Why are you blaming me now, Your Highness? You. Xiao Ziyan was rendered speechless by my words, but at this point, he knew there was nothing left to hide, so he simply dropped the mask. "Mu Qingqing, did you really think I, the noble prince of Ning, would actually fall for a low-class scavenger like you? If it weren't for Wan'er's dream of becoming the crown princess, do you think I would have bothered playing along with you?" Xiao Ziyan was just as cold-blooded and heartless as before. In my past life, he supported me and pampered me only because I had utility and could make Lin Wan'er feel grateful to him and hold him in higher regard. Now that I had no purpose, he couldn't wait to grind me into the dirt. Unfortunately, it was too late. I struggled and bit down hard on the back of Xiao Ziyan's hand. Overwhelmed by the pain, he reflexively let go of me. I retreated 2 steps, and once I had put some distance between us, I said, "Even if it was all an act, there is no turning back for you now, my lord. When you wrote the marriage contract and made your vows, the entirety of the capital was watching. If I were to die now, or if you were to call off the wedding, do you think public opinion would let the Prince of Ning's mansion off the hook? Having been reborn, I had had learned to be more cautious, and I had carefully studied the affairs of the imperial court. I knew that Xiao Ziyan wouldn't dare take that risk. The reason he clung to Xiao Chen was partly for the sake of Lin Wan'er, but also for the sake of the Ning mansion. The Prince of Ning held great power, which the emperor had always been wary of, but because they were brothers by blood, he had yet to take any action. For the future of the entire clan, the Prince of Ning urged Xiao Ziyan to stay close to Xiao Chen, to win the favor of the future monarch, and they were well aware that minor mistakes might be forgiven, but if a scandal were brought out into the open, the emperor would certainly seize the chance to destroy the Ning mansion. After all, the lives of 9 generations were at stake. As much as Xiao Ziyan loved Lin Wan'er, didn't have the nerve to put himself or expose his own leverage in the open. Just as I expected, after hesitating for a long time, Xiao Ziyan chose to compromise. Gritting his teeth in frustration, he said, "Mu Qingqing, I won't kill you, nor will I break off the engagement. But in all your calculating, you missed one thing. The helper you found is nothing but a village girl. And even if she is pregnant, she won't be able to stir up any real trouble. After all, a girl raised by a lowly poor family can be dealt with by just giving her some gold and silver, or by marrying her off to a wealthy household, and she'll happily clear out. If she proves stubborn, then we'll just have her killed in secret and make it look like the work of mountain bandits. I doubt anyone would bother to investigate closely. Am I right?" Yes, if the person really were just a commoner, then Xiao Ziyan would be entirely correct. But unfortunately, he doesn't know that the so-called ugly woman is actually the true princess of Northern Rong. Seeing that I didn't respond, Xiao Ziyan assumed I was afraid. He ordered his men to keep an eye on me, then said, "Let's go to the Eastern Palace. We'll use Miss Mu's name to lure that troublesome ugly woman out and send her to Lufeng's stronghold so Bandit Chief Chen can take good care of her." Watching how familiar and seasoned Xiao Ziyan was, I finally realized that the executioners who acted as the blade to slaughter my Huang village in my past life were none other than this Lufeng stronghold. Perhaps the one who abused and tortured Shu Ran was also Lufeng's stronghold. I suddenly changed my mind. Retaliating against just Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan isn't enough. I want this entire Lufeng stronghold to pay the price as well. After Xiao Ziyan left, I walked into the inner chamber and said to the Crown Prince of Northern Rong who was hiding there, "Your Highness, you heard it all, didn't you? The one who harmed Princess Shu isn't just Xiao Chen alone. Your Highness, if you truly cherish the princess, then listen to me. Let's change the plan." Our original plan was simple. Once Shu Ran revealed the truth in public at the wedding ceremony, Shu Lin would bring people to testify. When Shu Ran and Xiao Chen were intimate, I had her secretly take Xiao Chen's personal jade pendant with both human witnesses and physical evidence. The emperor would have no choice but to believe it. Shu Ran's position as crown princess would then be secure. As for Lin Wan'er, even if she were willing to be a secondary consort, Shu Ran would never agree to it. Given Xiao Ziyan's love for Lin Wan'er, he would surely want to marry Lin Wan'er into his home to soothe her wounded heart. That is why I insisted under the eyes of everyone that Xiao Ziyan pledge never to take another wife. The sense of powerlessness of watching his beloved unable to marry out, yet unable to be brought into his own home, will surely drive Xiao Ziyan mad with regret. When I first devised this plan, I only wanted Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan to live a life of unrequited love, living in constant self-reproach. But after hearing Xiao Ziyan's malice with my own ears, I changed my mind. This time, I don't just want him to regret, I want him dead. After the plan was changed, Shu Lin did not appear at the Eastern Palace to testify. Shu Ran also followed the plan, leaving the Eastern Palace with Xiao Ziyan. No sooner had Xiao Ziyan dragged Shu Ran back to Huanga village than Xiao Chen arrived with Lin Wan'er. He raised his foot in a rage, intending to kick Shu Ran's stomach. "You slut. It is all your fault for making a scene and ruining the auspicious hour. My marriage with Wan'er must now be rescheduled. I will crush the spawn in your womb right now and see what you'll have to threaten me with in the future." Lin Wan'er grabbed Xiao Chen just in time and said, "Your Highness, your hands must not be stained with blood. Ziyan told me about her plan on the way here. We should just keep a close watch on her. When the mountain bandits raid tonight, they will take her away, and then, whether she lives or dies has nothing to do with us." After saying this, Lin Wan'er glanced at me. Then she turned to instruct Xiao Ziyan, "And this woman must not be spared either. Ziyan, have the bandits take her away as well. As for Huang village, we must burn it to the ground to prevent any future trouble. In 2 lifetimes of living, this is the first time I have truly seen Lin Wan'er. I always thought she was someone being secretly protected by Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan knowing nothing. Only now do I realize she and these Xiao brothers are cut from the same cloth, perhaps even more vicious and cold-blooded. With just a few words, she handed the knife to Xiao Ziyan. Yet Xiao Ziyan actually enjoys the feeling, willingly acting as Lin Wan'er's puppet. He nodded hurriedly and said, "All right, Wan'er, I will listen to everything you say." Watching Xiao Ziyan's servile appearance, I couldn't help but curse. "You fool, they are using you as a weapon, and yet you're filled with gratitude. If you believe me, let us go. Go before the emperor and explain everything clearly. Perhaps then, you might still save your life." But Xiao Ziyan dismissed my words as the struggle of a dying person. He raised his hand and struck me across the face with a loud slap. "Shut up, you two nobodies from the sticks. Don't have the standing to talk big." Seeing that Xiao Ziyan wouldn't seize the chance, I turned to look at Xiao Chen and Lin Wan'er. "What about you two? Are you willing to turn back before it is too late?" Before Xiao Chen could even speak, Lin Wan'er let out a dismissive snort and hooked her arm through Xiao Chen's. "Your Highness, let's go. I don't like listening to someone so wretched talk." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Fine, since no one wants to listen to reason, then let them keep each other company on the road to the underworld." When the bandits kidnapped Xu Ran and me, a massive fire broke out in Huang Village, but the bandits were too busy discussing how to torture us to notice that not a single soul was crying out for help in that fire. That's right. After changing the plan, Xu Lin immediately had my people move deep into the mountains. When Xiao Ziyan brought Xu Ran back, he simply assumed it was late at night and that the villagers were all asleep, not knowing that the village had long been empty. Once Xu Ran and I reached Lufeng's stronghold, the bandits wanted to amuse themselves. We fought back with all our might, deliberately provoking the bandits and getting ourselves beaten several times. Just as we were on our last breath, a troop of soldiers broke through the gates of Lufeng's stronghold. Leading them was none other than Xu Lin. That very night, Xu Lin brought us into the palace. As fate would have it, right at the palace gates, we ran into Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan leaving the palace. When they saw us covered in wounds and the bandits tied up behind our carriage, they were instantly struck with cold sweat. Xiao Ziyan was the first to regain his composure. He walked up with a fawning smile and said, "What is the meaning of this, Crown Prince Xu?" Xu Lin sat high up on his horse and let out a cold laugh. "What is happening? Is something you and the young prince know better than anyone? Is it not?" Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan weren't fools. They immediately grasped the implication behind Xu Lin's words. Xiao Chen stepped forward and explained, "Crown Prince Xu, for intervening in injustice. I truly admire you. However, you may not understand the situation. These two women conspired to deceive me and ruined my marriage prospects. I was only administering a minor punishment, letting them go to the stronghold to learn a lesson. Crown Prince Xu, you are a guest after all, and this dirty business should not trouble you. Hand them over to me." Xu Lin did not move an inch. He laughed mockingly. "Hand them over to the Crown Prince. I doubt they'd even survive. Since I have saved them, I am responsible for them. Step aside, Your Highness. This matter is best left for the Emperor of Great Yin to judge." Seeing that Xu Lin was determined to intervene, Xiao Chen grew impatient. His tone turned hostile. "Crown Prince Xu, frankly speaking, this is my private affair. Why must you involve yourself?" After saying this, he signaled Xiao Ziyan. Xiao Ziyan understood immediately. He pointed at me and said, "That is right, Crown Prince Xu. This is my fiancée. She conspired to swindle others. I only meant to teach her a lesson." As Xiao Ziyan spoke, he pulled out the marriage contract. "Look, this is our marriage contract. She is about to marry me soon. How could I ever truly let anything happen to her? So I ask that you please turn a blind eye and let me take them back. Both of you are heirs to the throne. There is no need to sour our relations over two pieces of filth. Don't you agree?" Xu Lin frowned, displeased, and said, "Pieces of filth." Xu Lin could no longer tolerate it. He dismounted from his horse and helped Xu Ran up. He swept away her disheveled hair, revealing her scarred face. "Before you call her filth, you two had better take a very close look at her face. I believe you will recognize her." Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan looked confused. They exchanged a glance and then stepped forward to inspect her. But Xu Ran's face was too severely disfigured. After looking for a long time, the two still could not remember her. Xu Ran finally couldn't help it and said with a cold, mocking laugh, "Your Highness, little prince, it's been less than half a year, and you've already forgotten how you bribed the mountain bandits to humiliate and bury this princess alive." Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan looked as if they had been struck by lightning. They stumbled back 2 paces in shock, all color draining from their faces. The two asked in unison, with voices trembling in terror, "You are Prince Princess Su. Xu Ran remained silent. As Xu Lin stepped forward instead, he asked with a chilling smile, "So, is my own sister still just a worthless wretch in your eyes?" Xiao Chen and Xiao Ziyan's faces turned even paler, yet Xu Lin had no intention of letting them off, closing in on them step by step. "Crown Prince, these bandits have already confessed everything. It was you two, along with the Lin family's daughter, who conspired to hire murderers. I am quite curious as to how the Emperor of Dayane will rule against the culprits who harmed the princess of a friendly nation." Xiao Chen trembled uncontrollably. He knew all too well that Beirong's strength was no less than Dayane's, and the Emperor had always been unable to handle them. If word reached Beirong that he had harmed Xu Ran, he would be clearly in the wrong. If Beirong were to launch an attack, then the hearts of the people would no longer side with Dayane. Therefore, the Emperor only needed to weigh the pros and cons. To realize the best solution was to use Xiao Chen as a scapegoat. Though he might not lose his life, his position as crown prince would certainly be lost. To protect this hard-won status, Xiao Chen had no choice but to apologize subserviently. "Crown Prince Xu, I truly did not know she was Princess Xu. If I had known, how would I have ever dared to touch her?" Xu Lin let out a cold, mocking laugh. "Dare not touch her. She has been reduced to this wretched ghost-like state. Do you mean to tell me you have no part in this, Crown Prince?" Xiao Chen tried to quibble, but Xu Lin gave him no chance. He continued, "Your Highness, think carefully before you speak. These bandits have already confessed to everything they've done, including the previous kidnapping of Wan'er, and they have all signed their depositions. However, I don't necessarily want you dead. After all, my sister is carrying your child." Xiao Chen was stunned. He had always assumed that Xu Ran's pregnancy was fake, something I invented just to spite him. Hearing Xu Lin's words now, he said in shock, "But wasn't it Mu Qingqing I was with that night?" I then spoke up to explain, "Your Highness has misunderstood. I had invited Princess Su for a night of conversation. I never expected that you would violate her, Your Highness. If you don't believe me, Your Highness, you may ask Crown Prince Su. He was present that day as well. It's just that we saw how high your spirits were, so we didn't want to disturb you." Xiao Chen's face turned beet red to the roots of his hair. I suppose Anyan would feel embarrassed to learn they were watched during such an act. He remained silent for a long time, before finally accepting his fate. Softening his tone, he said, "Very well, I was in the wrong. Tell me, what must I do for you to let me go?" Xu Ran emphasized her words, enunciating clearly, "Marry me as your crown princess, and swear that you will never take another wife. Only then will I bury the truth." Xiao Chen looked conflicted, but after weighing the options, he chose to keep the secret. He sighed heavily, finally nodding as he said, "Fine. I agree to your terms." But upon hearing this, Xiao Ziyan flew into a rage. He grabbed Xiao Chen by the collar and roared, "How could you possibly agree to this? Xiao Chen, how could you agree? Don't you know that Wan'er's greatest dream in this life is to be the crown princess? To fulfill her wish, I have already gone against my conscience so many times, and even agreed to marry Mu Qingqing. How could you just compromise so easily?" Xiao Chen forcefully slapped Xiao Ziyan's hand away, and said unhappily, "You have the time to question me, but you'd be better off thinking about how to save yourself. You had a part in everything. If you don't appease Qingqing now, and have her intercede with Crown Prince Su and Princess Su for you, you won't escape death either." Xiao Chen's words were like a bucket of cold water, jolting Xiao Ziyan back to reality. He looked at me in terror, but his pride kept him from speaking. I didn't pressure him, but said understandingly, "If the young prince doesn't want to die, that is fine. But someone has to take the fall for this. The young prince should discuss it with the Highness, whether you both take the fall, or let Lin Wan'er take it." Wan'er. Xiao Ziyan looked pained, and asked tentatively, "Can't we find someone else to take the fall?" I shook my head without hesitation. "No. If the three culprits are not held accountable, I don't think Princess Xu will be able to let this go." Xu Ran chimed in at the right moment. "That is right. The two of us are marrying your brothers, so we naturally have to protect you. But we truly have no reason to protect Lin Wan'er. However, the two of you are willing to take the blame for her and face the execution of your entire clan in her place. We can agree to that too." The words "execution of your entire clan" completely extinguished the love left in Xiao Ziyan's heart. He finally made a painful decision and said, "Fine, then let Wan'er take the fall. Qingqing, let me off. I am willing to marry you." How truly laughable, pathetic, and hateful. I once thought Xiao Ziyan loved Lin Wan'er so deeply. I never expected that in the end. He loved himself the most, but I did not rush to mock him, because I needed the two 2 of them to personally send Lin Wan'er to the guillotine. I want them to live forever with the guilt and pain of having killed the woman they loved. Lin Wan'er was captured by Chen and Xiao Ziyan, who led the guards to arrest her themselves. At that moment, Lin Wan'er was still humming a tune, happily tidying up the phoenix coronet that only a crown princess could wear. As the guards pinned her to the ground, she hysterically demanded of Chen, "Are you insane? I am your crown princess." Just then, Shu Ran walked in, holding my hand. She stepped on the back of Lin Wan'er's hand, grinding it down mercilessly. Then she picked up the fallen phoenix coronet, and while trying it on, sneered, "Don't dream, you lowly girl. Aside from me, no one can wear this crown. Don't you agree, Your Highness?" The crown prince. Chen forced a smile and walked over, wrapping his arms around Shu Ran's shoulders as he said, "Indeed." Lin Wan'er was confused, but seeing Chen acting as if possessed, she pinned her hopes on Xiao Ziyan instead. She pulled her hand from beneath Shu Ran's foot and crawled toward Xiao Ziyan, sobbing in her distress. "Ziyan, you have always loved me most. You won't be like Chen and ignore me, will you? I've made up my mind. I don't care about being the stupid crown princess. I'll be your noble consort instead, okay?" Xiao Ziyan's expression softened, as he could never bear the sight of Lin Wan'er's tears, until I gave a slight cough, which finally brought him to his senses. He pulled away from Lin Wan'er. "Forgive me, I am already betrothed to Qingqing. The wedding is set for 3 days from now, and for the rest of my life she is the only one I will ever marry." Lin Wan'er was stunned into silence. She burst into desperate, broken sobs. Then she began to curse them hysterically. "You 2 heartless bastards. You claimed you loved me. Yet you're discarding me for 2 lowly wretches. You will both come to a miserable end." Xiao Ziyan couldn't listen anymore. He raised his hand and gave the order, "Take her to the execution grounds." Hearing this, I spoke up to remind them, "Young prince, didn't you both promise to oversee the execution yourselves? Or are you having second thoughts?" Xiao Ziyan opened his mouth as if he wanted to say something, but in the end he remained silent. "Fine. We will go." After Lin Wan'er died, everything seemed to be drawing to a close, but only Shu Ran and I knew how much Chen and Xiao Ziyan hated us. They often met to drink together, but in reality, they were plotting how to kill their wives without leaving a trace. Naturally, we wouldn't give them that chance. After Shu Ran gave birth to her son, we found the political rivals, whom Chen and Xiao Ziyan had ruined. We assisted them in luring Chen and Xiao Ziyan to the banks of the Yellow River. Shu Ran and I stood in the shadows and watched as the rivals pushed them into the Yellow River. It was as if everything had returned to the beginning, but this time, the river folk already knew of their evil deeds. No one would save them a second time. When the bodies of Chen and Xiao Ziyan were recovered, Shu Ran and I wept more sorrowfully than anyone. We wouldn't even eat or drink, kneeling in mourning for 7 days. The people of the world were all moved by our devotion. The emperor also lowered his guard and named Shu Ran's young son as the heir apparent. The empire that should have belonged to Chen changed hands in that very moment. And as for me, I chose a different path. I lacked both the ambition and the capability of Shu Ran. After the funeral for Xiao Ziyan, I requested to be sent to the nunnery to live in retreat as a lay devotee.